Dinka. What foodstuffs that you talking about? That's African. I ain't no African.
Well, I'm Dinka. We're proud people.
And I'm American. I was born here. My mammy and my daddy was born here. And my daddy's daddy. I ain't no African. Bad time all right.
Peace, 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 and light. People in the building. What's good, everybody? Well, we about to get to it tonight, man. I'm going to be streaming on 2 platforms tonight, so I ask for your patience. I'm going to queue up my TikTok here in a minute. I'm going live on TikTok at 8:30 and streaming live right here on this platform. So, it's me, your boy, Minister Information. You already know what it is, man. Get your pen and your pad out. Get your pencil and your pad. There's no need for me to repeat. Y'all already know what's happening. I know what it is, man. What's good with the family? It's another amazing episode right here on Chrome TV. What up, though? Everybody in the building. Let's get it, man. Yes, I'll hook them up. I got like 15 minutes. I'll be in there. I got you. Let's get into it. And I'm actually ahead of time. Just forgive my background noise. I am sitting outside on my beautiful deck, sipping some delicious wine as we get into this topic tonight. So, man, got a lot to cover, man. Got a lot to cover. I didn't even drop my intro. I'm so excited, man. I didn't even drop the intro. I'm so excited about this tonight, man. But as per usual, right here on Chrome TV Network, I don't give Chrome a whole network. Chrome TV Network, speed into existence. 2025 Chrome, we gotta do a network. Shouts out to good brother Chrome. He is not on here tonight. It's just me, M.O.I. Chrome is out on the highways and byways doing his due diligence. But I want to keep with the house rules and decorum. True King in the building. I know Chrome do the perfect trifecta, but I'm gonna try to call off as many as I can because I believe in that, man. I believe you guys are showing up early to class, and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate the early arrivals. You know what I'm saying? But so go ahead and if you have not shared this yet, go ahead and share it. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, get that popping. Subscribe to Chrome TV as well. During this broadcast, you can support Chrome TV by sending stars and digital gifts that helps Chrome TV earn money. So be sure to tap in and do that. I'll put my Cash App up here a little bit later. As usual, when I drop the Cash App, you're not obligated to donate. But if you feel like, some information I've shared with you have blessed your spirit and you feel like you have came up on some information, you have learned something, then please feel free to step up to the $2 challenge on the Cash App a little bit later in the show. I will be dropping more information about upcoming lives as well, so get ready for that. But True King in the building, man. You was here early, bro. You always in the building early. You one of the early arrivals, and we definitely appreciate that. Twin, what up, though, Twin? What's good with you? Alodio Aborigine. I know that's right. Peace and love. What's going on? Peace, family. I know, man. Y'all ready, man. I love when you guys show up early too, man. Everything is everything. Peace and love. And listen, you ain't gotta tell me. I know these platforms are getting weird. If y'all haven't heard your Vice President Kamala Harris was talking crap. I don't know what day that was about putting more restrictions over on our social media platforms to restrict what she's calling hateful banner and whatever the case is. It's basically infringed upon our First Amendment right, freedom of speech. So I wouldn't doubt if YouTube is glitching and everything will start glitching here in a minute too. Chris G, master student, always a faithful student in the building. What's happening? Haru, Duke of Great Lakes, peace and love. What go on? Indigo, what's happening with you? NTP Robinson, Shalom, Islam, peace and light. There she is. Peace and love, peace and light. How you doing, Queen? I know you always in the building. I love it, man. I love it. Who else we got in here? Scrooge Greedy, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening? And today, today we're gonna be talking about the Southeast region, man. So, as I read off and shout you guys out, why don't you drop where you from in the comments? Anybody from the Carolinas, um, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Florida. Drop something in the comment, man. Let me know what state you from. This is for the Southeast region. We got big love for my Midwesterns and my West Coast and my Northerners as well. Ain't no love lost. Just today we're dealing with the Southeast region today. We'll deal with the Northeast region and the Central region and the Midwest and so on and so forth at a later date. But today it's all about the South, man, the dirty South. What y'all really know about the dirty South? Cosmic 8, what's happening? What up, what up, what up, man? Everybody in the building, man. What's going on, Lewis? Yo, hey, listen, man. We about to get into it, man. We about to get into it. You know, they going stupid on TikTok right now, but they going stupid, my boy, over on TikTok right now, my boy, about this indigenous inheritance. Who's the Aborigine, who's not from here, who's from Africa, blah, blah, blah. And it's mostly these pretendians over on TikTok that's like patrolling the TikTok airwaves. Anybody that's of true copper color come on there saying that we are the rightful heirs of the vast estate. They getting on our ass. They trying to. They trying to. They got their panties in the bunch right now over on TikTok because we're coming strong. Like there's a strong movement. If you're not on TikTok, man, tap all the way in, my boy. Or follow me on TikTok at the Minister of Information on TikTok. Come join my tribe as I go in over there because I got a nice little Wu-Tang group of indigenous people over there too. And I want to say shouts out to the pioneers on social media with this indigenous movement. People like Dan Calloway. A lot of people don't really like Dan Calloway. You know, that's their personal opinion. But I think the brother really broke down the barriers on social media. Not saying that he was the guru of the indigenous conversation. That's always been a big boat held for other people. Dr. Malachi York has always been on that. You know what I'm saying? Who else? Not Phil Valentine. My boy name. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. They came from Columbus, and several more have always propagated the information that we are the indigenous rightful inheritance of the Northwest Mexican territory. Shouts out to all my Moors too, man. All my Moors, Islam Moors, because Noble Drew Ali came at a time shortly after slavery, and as it was spoken in oral tradition, he stood on the corners of Newark, New Jersey, on a milk crate, and the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was screaming out that we're not Negro, you're not black, you're not colored. Those were all titles given to you by slaveholders in 1776 and lasted till about 1865. But now this is a new era in time where you must proclaim your free national name and worship under your own vine and fig tree. Those are the words. Those are the words. Those are the words. Those are the words. Queen of Forest Healing Ministry. What you got that pencil and paper? Thank you so much. And if this is your first time checking me out, first time tapping in with the Minister of Information, this is not Crom. Although this is Crom platform, I am the other half. I am the ambassador, official ambassador for Crom TV. I'm rarely on occasion on here, hopping on here, but in this occasion, I'm on here, man. So if you don't know, how do I do business? This is just information. I'm not here to convince you or persuade you. Please do your own research. By doing your own research, this becomes information that you know and not information that you have heard. Allah gives us our own portion of understanding, which is suitable unto us. This is just my portion of understanding, family. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to lay out some facts. Facts supersede predictions. Facts are more reliable than opinions. Facts always win the argument. So, without further ado, I'm just trying to stall to 8:30 so I can turn my TikTok on because, like I told y'all, I'm gonna scream on TikTok as well simultaneously while I'm over here with y'all, good people. You know what I'm saying? Give me a second. Let me pull it up for a second. Bam. And it can be tough on TikTok sometimes. TikTok can be tough on you sometimes, but we ain't gonna worry about that because tonight we about to get it in, my boy. Let me slap my live over. Boom. All right. So we are now officially live on TikTok. We live on Facebook. We live on YouTube. We live across the whole board. Let's get into it. So tonight, y'all, we're talking about a couple of different things. I as always, have my notes. Put my board a little bit. I got my notes right here. So tonight we're dealing with the Yamacraw. And of course, we're in the great state of Georgia. I'm from Georgia, born and raised in Georgia. My family's from Georgia. We're gonna deal with these things. We're gonna take a dive into it, take a deep dive into it, and just have a conversation about it. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about the Yamacraw Indians of Georgia, the Oconee. The Oconee is also a group or a tribe as well. The Yamasee or Yamansi, the Coweta, and of course the Seminole. Now, out of this group of five groups, how many of these groups have you ever heard of? Or how many of these groups you actually know of from the state of, and there's more. Besides the Yamasee and the Yamacraw, I mean, I didn't go with the traditional Georgia groups. I didn't go with the traditional Creek. I didn't go with the traditional Muskogee. I didn't go with the Blackfoot, and those are the more popularized tribes of the Southeast region, particularly Georgia. I wanted to come a little bit different. I wanted to bring up some stuff y'all may not have heard about to encourage y'all to do your own research. Now, make this announcement for TikTok. For TikTok, my TikTok audience, this is just information only. This is under the Fair Usage Act, the Copyright Act of 1976. Went into effect January 1st, 1978. Established the Fair Use Doctrine, which allows the reproduction of copyrighted material without the copyright owner's permission. Everything I say on TikTok, this is not hate speech. This is for education purposes only. It's not hate or slander. This is a safe space. Yeah. So, in case you guys didn't know, I'm also, my TikTok followers don't know that I'm over on YouTube as well. This is a chat over here on YouTube as well. As y'all can see, over 100 people tapping in right now on YouTube. We got about 79 people on TikTok right now tapping in. I want my TikTok viewers to share this live. I want to do 200 plus on both platforms. Try to get them 1,000 streams, 1,000 views going on right now, man. So Yamacraw Indians of Georgia, Yamansi, Coweta, Seminole. Now, for my TikTok viewers, you guys get to see kind of how I'm operating behind the scenes. So be patient with me. Yamacraw, Oconee, Yamasee. We're talking about the colony of Georgia, or the Georgia colony. Do a little quick read real quick. Prehistory and Europe exploration. The human history of Georgia begins well before the founding of the colony. With the Native American culture date back to the Paleo-Indian period at the end of the Ice Age, nearly 13,000 years ago. The Clovis culture, identified by its unique projectile points, is the earliest documented group to have lived in present-day Georgia. The more permanent settlements of the late Archaic period, including the notable population centered at the Stalling Islands and the Savannah River, date back to 3000 BC during the Woodland period. From around 1000 BC to 900 AD, Native American groups in Georgia become increasingly sedentary, establishing villages and developing horticulture. Rock mounds as plural, and structures built during this era are found throughout the state, including Colomoco Mound in Early County, dating to around 500 AD. These mounds are the remains of one of the most populous woodland settlement north of Mexico. And we're only talking about the colony of Georgia. I know there's more mounds throughout America, throughout North America, but we're only talking about the Georgia colony right now. So yeah, that's how old Georgia is, or settlements in Georgia. So I want to start first and just deal with the Yamacraw. So let's dig into the Yamacraw. And again, all my TikTok viewers, you guys are seeing kind of the backside of how I operate on my lives. So be patient as I get everybody over on my live, on my YouTube, on board where we are. All right, here we go. The Yamacraw is a wiki article, and I'm gonna put up more different articles as well. We're not just gonna go off of wiki, but wiki is a great place to start. So it says the Yamacraw were Native American tribes that emerged in the early 18th century, occupying parts of what became Georgia, specifically along the bluffs near the mouth of the Savannah River. If you don't know where Savannah is, those of you who are not from the great state of Georgia, or the colony of Georgia, Savannah is about 3 hours away from the capital city of Atlanta, out on the coast, near what's called the Gullah Islands. Jackal Island is near Savannah. Jackal Island is another famous area of where they went to talk before they set up the Federal Reserves. I think like 1929, late 1920s, they had a meeting out on Jackal Island. So you can look up Jackal Island, Georgia, as well. I have been to Jackal Island a couple times myself, so I'm familiar with the territory. Where it enters the Atlantic Ocean, they were made up of Lower Creek and Yamasee and remained independent for about 20 years before integrating again with the main part of the Lower Creek people. This area was later developed as the city of Savannah. So it's telling you already that the Yamacraw, individuals were.
My dad says she wants her blessed food.
Okay, tell me in the middle of doing something. Man. I don't got to chill out. I'm in the middle of doing something. So it tells you already that the Yamacraw were a mixture of Lower Creek and Yamasee or Yamasee. Now the Yamasee or the Yamasee, we're going to talk about them a little bit as well. From my research, the Yamasee Indians, some are descendants of the what do you call them? Washita, the Washita or raccoon people. And of course, the Washita are supposedly one of the oldest tribal civilization of North America, according to the United Nations. So that's who they are. History. The Yamacraw tribe formed in the late 1720s. Leader Chief Tomochichi. We're going to talk about Chief Tomochichi in a second as well. He was a key person that dealt with Mr. James Oglethorpe. James Oglethorpe was the chartered trustee that set up the colony of Georgia. That's who that is. The leader, Chief Tomochichi, from some bands of the Yamasee and Lower Creek people who had disagreed with severing friendship with the British during the Yamasee War. Let's take a look at the Yamasee War real quick, if y'all don't mind. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now, the Yamasee War is one of those conflicts that was a part of the 100-year Indian War. I may have time to pull up the 100-year Indian War as well. The 100-year Indian War goes all the way back to the first colonial settlement in the 1600s, dealing with Chief Metacom, better known as King Philip, dealing with the King Philip's War. We've been fighting for a long time. The Yamasee or Yamasee were a multi-ethnic confederation of Native Americans who lived on the coastal region of present-day northern coast of Georgia, near the Savannah River, and later northeast Florida. The Yamasee engaged in revolts and wars with other Native groups and Europeans living in North America, specifically from Florida to North Carolina. The Yamasee, along with the Gullah, that's another tribe. So as we talk about these tribes, you're noticing we're not talking about the Cherokee. We haven't mentioned the Creek, none of those jokers at all. Now, they all spoke the Muskegon language or Muskegee language, but we're not talking about the Muskegee tribe. It's just the language they spoke. The tribes to the north, such as the Pamunkey, the Natchez, they spoke what was called Algonquian. Algonquian is another language for the northern tribes, right? So the Yamasee, along with the Gullah, are considered from linguists evidence by many scholars have been the Muskogee language people. For instance, the Yamasee term Miko, meaning chief, is also common in Muskogee. They're saying how common the languages are amongst Copper Color King. What's up, brother? Peace. Copper Color King over on TikTok. Come on and join me, bro. I ain't talk to you in a minute, bro. Come rock with me. Peace and light, bro. What's going on with you?
What up, family? What it do? Chicken stove.
Man, listen, man. If I knew you was up, I would have sent you the link to join me over on. You know, I'm streaming on YouTube too on the platform. So
yeah, I'm doing laundry right now, but let's do it.
Bet. Listen, I'm gonna send you the link via text so you can join me over there.
Okay, bet.
All right, bro. So, give me a second, fam. Let me send my boy this link real quick. After the Yamasee migration to the Carolinas, now this is important too about the Carolinas. The Carolinas not established until 1663 under what was known as Lord Proprietor. Okay, the Georgia colony was set up under a trustee, okay, by James Oglethorpe. Lord Proprietors and trustees are two different situations that we don't have time to get into tonight because I'll lose the focus on what I'm trying to get to. So just trust me. Look up the Carolinas and the word Lord Proprietor, and then look up trustee, trustees of the Georgia colony. So anyway, after the Yamasee migrated to the Carolinas, they began participating in Indian slave trade in the American Southeast. The Indian slave trade. Y'all see that? It took place in the 17th, 18th, and 19th century. 17th century means 1600s. This means 1700s. This means the 1800s. So let's read that again. After the Yamasee migrated to the Carolinas, they began participating in the Indian slave trade in the American Southeast, not the African slave trade. Y'all didn't catch that. Y'all didn't catch that. They tell you that this was the African slave trade in the 1700s, 1800s, 1900s. Gaul, not Gullah. Thank you for the point of correction. Gaul, gotcha. So 17th, 18th, 19th century, this is what's called the Indian slave trade, not African slave trade. Pay attention. They raided other tribes and took captives for sale to European colonists. Now, this is interesting because we can go check out. I don't want to do it. I don't lose my point. Just there is an Indian slave trade in the early 1600s. If you had time, we look up the Indian slave trade of the 1600s when they took Native Americans out of the North American continent and took them over to Africa and took them over to Europe as well. That was before they started bringing Africans into North America. All right, cool. So captives from other Native American tribes were sold into slavery, with some being transported to the West Indies, the island plantations. Their enemies fought back. Slave trading was large because of the Yamasee War. So we have the Yamasee War, or Yamasee War, also along with King Philip's War. So this is the Southern Territory fighting, and then the Northern Territory fighting was called King Philip's War, or what's known as the 100-year Indian War. The Yamasee lived in the coast towns, what is now known as Southeast Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. The Yamasee migrated from Florida to South Carolina in the late 16th century, which is 1500s, where they became friendly with European colonists, fucking with the enemy. The Yamasee were joined by members of the Gaul, what they call Geechee, what commonly referred to as Geechee Gullah. They're Gaul, okay? Mississippian culture, chieftain, and their cultures intertwined, what they call amalgamated. All right. So there's a little bit of background about the Yamasee or Yamasee. Let me get back over here real quick. And I want to check out this YouTube clip that I found dealing with the Yamacraw down in Savannah. Give me 1 second to find it. Boom, there it is. Let's take a listen real quick.
When we hear about Yamacraw and see Yamacraw today, we see a public housing development. But when I see Yamacraw, I see a huge Black community that was right here. That is the central community for African people in the state of Georgia. Historic Yamacraw, there were homes there, two-story wooden homes that were owned by African people. You also have brick homes that were built in the 1800s that were still owned by African people up until the 1940s. I see a man by the name of Robert Sinstack Abbott as a child growing up in Yamacraw, and also in another community called Woodsville. I see Robert Abbott and his family. I see the West Broad Street School right there on MLK today. West Broad is now known as MLK Junior Boulevard. So I see all of that there in Yamacraw. I see James P. Johnson. James P. Johnson is called the father of jazz pianists in the United States. James P. Johnson wrote a piece titled Yamacraw that he said was dedicated to the men from the Sea Islands of Georgia. Then James Weldon Johnson, NAACP, writer, civil rights advocate. James Weldon Johnson, also many people know him as the composer of Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Black National Anthem. Here go a community that is known for basically around the entire country for Black excellence that we see right there in Yamacraw. But something happened. May 1941, they opened up a public housing development and they named it Yamacraw, wiping out the story of historic Yamacraw. And you walk into Yamacraw and you see the building, which is now the clinic. That was the office building. That building is a replica of the mansion house on the Hermitage Plantation. So that represents the big house, and that the house that the people live in, what are those? Those are the quarters of the Africans on the Hermitage Plantation. The only difference is that they are now built up 2 stories. If they were single story, you got the exact quarters on the plantation. And so, yes, the message is sent to us here. And the message is that we cannot achieve. This is all that we will know. So you see how psychologically, how damaging that is? When you go from a community that's known around the entire country, but now, today, folks are in a public housing development that is the remnants of the plantation.
Crazy. Now, that brother was speaking from a location known as Yamacraw, down in Savannah, which is actually a community. This information was my first time even hearing about this location as I was researching today. And this is the information as it is written. Give me a second to get this pulled. I'm gonna blow up just a little bit. There we go. All right. So again, we're talking about a particular area in Savannah. And this is a document. I'm not on WikiLeaks anymore. This is actual document. These are the actual photos. Yamacraw Village, Section 106 review. These are some of the homes or residents of the locals. I'll just use that terminology because I don't want to get caught up with semantics dealing with the word term African, because I heard the brother who was just talking was using the term African. But as we was reading about the Yamacraw Indians, we didn't see the term African at all. We didn't see African slave trade at all. We saw indigenous people. So this is Yamacraw Village down in Savannah. This is a community. And what was most interesting to me was the name of the streets. And I think this is just a proposal they're going to tear down the housing projects in that area. This is the particular area in Savannah, Georgia. Yamacraw Mini Station, Yamacraw Basketball Court. So this whole entire section right here is mostly so-called Black people. I don't like using that term because it causes more confusion than anything. But this is the part that was interesting to me right here. These are the name of the streets down there, y'all. It was called 528 to 532 Indian Street in the 1900s. 1920, it was called Indian Street all the way to from 1894 to 1920. It looks like it was called Indian Street. And then, of course, there's an M.L. King Boulevard in every city in America. And of course, that ML King Boulevard is always the blackest area or the heavy urban populated area in every city. I don't care if you're in Atlanta. I don't care if you are in Virginia and Hampton Roads, wherever you are. You always will see a ML King Jr. Boulevard, and it's predominantly always so-called black people. So yeah, this was pretty interesting to me to come across this information. Now I've always known about the Yamacraw, but the association, the deep association with so-called black people, was mind-boggling to see that this community is still called Yamacraw Village, and to still see the huge presence of us. It almost kills the argument over on TikTok about us being the rightful heirs of the vast estate, of the rightful heirs, or if we are even indigenous or Indian in the first place. The shit almost kills the argument. That's just in my opinion. And one particular photo that I saw that was interesting. Give me a second to pull it up. Where is it at? This photo right here was interesting. It says, "Out of Yamacraw and beyond discovery of Black Savannah." That was an interesting photo. And there's one more. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. Ah, but it didn't come up. But these are some of the houses in that same area, and Yamacraw, Savannah. Let me find this other picture real quick. I ain't got it up there. And we haven't even got to the good stuff, family. Like I haven't even got to the nooks and crannies yet, about what's really going on. Shouts out to YouTube, man. Shouts out to Facebook. We had 130 people watching right now. Appreciate y'all, man, tapping all the way in. The comments are going crazy. The chat is going crazy. If you're over on TikTok, you want to join us on live, man, click the link in my bio and come over on my YouTube live. I like to stream on YouTube because I can say a lot more on YouTube than I can say on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? TikTok be weird sometimes, but I'm gonna stay live on TikTok for about another 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna click off, and then I'm gonna go all the way to fuck in over here on YouTube. I gotta kind of censor myself right now because I'm not exclusively on TikTok. I mean on YouTube. This is the 1941 project that the brother was talking about. Some newspaper clipping. February, it says February 14th, 1939, Nathaniel Scrouser, administrator of the United States Housing Authority. And everybody know what the Housing Authority is, right? All black people know what the Housing Authority is. That's the PJs, it's the projects. That's what we call the hood. There used to be neighborhoods. All the neighbors moved away and it just became the hood, right? So this was the breaking ground. And you see, we actually live there. Like these native people were already there inhabiting that area. It's called Yamacraw Village. And they put up a housing project. And that was just mind-blowing, man. That's mind-blowing. So to all my TikTokers and followers, if you still think that we are out of Africa, hold your breath. Hold your breath. I haven't showed you nothing yet.
Mandinka. What food stuff's that you're talking about? That's African. I ain't no African.
Well, I'm Mandinka. We're proud people.
And I'm American. I was born here. My mammy and my daddy was born here. And my daddy's daddy. I ain't no African. Bad time all around.
That's the energy y'all gotta have on TikTok. And I ain't no African. Kizzy didn't want to hear that shit. If you guys are unfamiliar with that movie, there was a scene out of the movie Roots. There was a particular scene when Toby Kunta Kinte, he's a little bit older, played by Mr. James Evans from Good Times. It's not his real name, but that's what we know him as. That's when he had was trying to tell Kizzy that she's from Africa. And she was like, I ain't no damn African. I'm from here. My mama from here, my grandma from here, my daddy from here. This is the picture right here. Yamacraw Market. Look at the little Indians out there. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little Indians, 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians. Yamacraw market. It don't say the African market. It don't say Senegal market. It don't say. I mean, my question has always been, if these were Africans, when did they stop becoming African? Like, when did they stop being African? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that making sense to y'all? Like, if they from Africa, why would they stop being African? Because they're in the Americas. It seems like this should have been like the African market, like we see now, like the international markets we see right now in America. The international markets everywhere, they got their food in there, but this is the Yamacraw market. And I'm gonna show you something that's interesting too about this, about these 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians. I'm gonna show you something else that's also interesting about this photo that I want to just cross-reference real quick. Let me pull up my screen. Let's go here. Back to the Yamasee. Somebody on TikTok said not Wikipedia. Well, we're just using Wikipedia as our baseline, y'all. Come on, man. God damn, I don't want to break out my encyclopedia, which I do have encyclopedias also. Let's go find the chief of the Yamacraw, Tomochichi. Here we go. Chief Tomochichi was the Indian chief. So it says Tomochichi was the head of the chief. He was the head chief of the Yamacraw town on the site of Savannah, Georgia. So that housing project I just showed you in the YouTube clip, same location, same place, same spelling, same name, ain't nothing changed. Same stuff. See, right? Yamacraw Bluff, same crap, right? Was the chief Yamacraw town on the site of present-day Savannah, Georgia in the 18th century. He gave land on Yamacraw Bluff to James Oglethorpe. James Oglethorpe was the, thank you, Amy. I appreciate you so much, Amy. Thank you. Thank you so much for showing love. TikTok going stupid right now, but I appreciate y'all, man. He gave land on Yamacraw Bluff to James Oglethorpe. Now, oh man, they're going crazy on TikTok. Why they going in? So listen, remember this part right here, family. Remember that part. Remember the part that Chief Tomochichi gave land to James Oglethorpe. Because I'm going to show you something in a second that's going to be super important. Super important. Super important. Hold on. Where I think let me see if I can get my boy on here real quick. Hold on, give me a second. I don't know how to work TikTok like that, man. Copper Color King, bro. If you're still on TikTok, tap back in over here, bro. If you guys are not following Copper Color King, man, go follow my guy, bro. Go follow my guy. Because I'm trying to get the links. Let me send my boy this link right quick. Y'all got to wait a second. Take a pause for the calls. Hold on. Send my boy this link. Send my boy this email right quick. All right. I'll be back. Even my boy, get him over here on the live right quick. But remember this part right here. Remember this part right here. So, in order for Chief Tomochichi to give James Oglethorpe this land, there had to be a treaty signed or a contract signed. Something had to be signed, right? Right? Everybody press, put 111 in the comments if you follow me so far. Drop 111 in the comments if you're still with me, if you follow me so far. Just drop a 111 real quick as I find this photo. Oh, hold on. I want to find this picture real quick. So we're talking about the Yamacraw Indians and Chief Tomochichi. If you're just joining us, this is the photograph right here I want to pull up. Let me blow it up a little bit. Who's in the photo? Who's about the photo in the middle? Can everybody see the little melanated king? right here. Now, historians don't really give us who he is or his name. My computer acting crazy. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I want y'all to see who this little king is real quick, because he's gonna be important as I explain the photograph. There we go. All right, there we go. Let me blow it up now. Control. There we go. There he is. Y'all see him right there? The little copper color king in the middle right there. Y'all see him? This young man is this Chief Tomochichi right here. Now, phenotypically, just looking at these individuals, how they got them looking like teepee Indians. Shorty got on the dress right here. She's been fully indoctrinated into the European culture. A couple of them got they native dress on. He look like he ready to go home. He ain't want to be there. But the little young man in the middle, he's interpreting. This is James Oglethorpe with the black on right here. He's the interpreter, and they're writing up that agreement. Look all the Europeans, all these YT people in the background. Look at that, all the YT people. These are the Yamacraw Indians. This is the interpreter. The little melanated copper colored king in the middle has to interpret the language. I know y'all saying, well, how you know he interpreted language? Because they just got there. They just came over there. They've been there. They spoke the Muskogee language. These Europeans don't speak Muskogee. James Oglethorpe just touched ground on the Georgia territory. There are no Muskogee schools to learn it. Like how we learn Spanish and French today, there's no institution set up for them to learn it. So they had to be an interpreter. Now, these individuals right here knew this language and this language. The young king is the interpreter. Look at him. I'll get a close look at the little young king. Dressed to the nines, ain't he? Got his little long, tall white socks on. Got on his little European garbs. Cleaning the board of health, man. He's the interpreter. I just wanted to show you guys that. It says audience given by the trustees of Georgia to the delegation of the Creek Indians, 1734, William Versal, whoever that is. Now, these individuals right here became the board of trustees for the Georgia colony. Anytime there's a board of trustees, there's a trust established. Now, for all my people on TikTok, all my people over on YouTube and Facebook who've been hearing people talk about trust law, allodial titles, what else? Land grants, ETC, charters, contractual law, admiralty law. All these terms you've been hearing people talk about on social media, keep that in mind. James Oglethorpe set up a trust on behalf of these individuals right here. James Oglethorpe set up a trust on behalf. If you don't know what a trust is, if you not clear on what a trust is, I encourage you to learn the difference between a trust government and a lord proprietor government. So these YT boys right here are the de facto custodians of the territory we call Georgia. These individuals to the right, these copper colored people over here, they are the true and rightful heirs of the estate. These are the YT European people are the de facto custodians. They're acting on behalf of these people right here. This picture you're seeing took place for every single colony in North America. All 48 colonies are either set up under a trust, a lord proprietor, and both of those entities later became what's known as a royal colony. To this day. Now, what was the big issue in 1776 for those Europeans who did not want to, who no longer wanted to serve under that trust, the Revolutionary War kicked off. Remember, the early colonists who came over to the colony of what's called Jamestown, Virginia, Pennsylvania, so on and so forth, the individuals who came on those wooden ships all signed contracts as indentured servants. Remember the Virginia Company? Remember the Philadelphia Company? The Indian Tea Company? The House of Burgesses, right? The Virginia Assembly, right? Go back and study who those individuals were and what they were doing. How were they able to ascertain the land? How were they able to do these massive land grabs? They were done under what we call treaties, but they were commonly known as trusts. And because these territories were placed in trust, under trust law, these YT boys became the custodians of those territories. And once these YT boys with the wigs on became the custodians of those territories, they set up a different form of government to which to govern these individuals by. Now, these individuals, these copper-colored individuals who signed these treaties or these trusts, then were declared as minors, meaning they're not able to handle their own affairs, meaning their government is no longer recognized. So we talk about recognizing these so-called Negro Indian tribes. Who gave these YT boys permission to establish the grounds for recognition? Who told them how to recognize us? We never did that shit. We never recognized each other based on paperwork. The paperwork in these documents are something that they created. You see what I'm saying? So, again, they were setting up what's called a living trust. Now, once the trust was established by these Europeans now can lay claim to the territory. Now you see why it makes sense when we talk about the Indian Removal Act. Let me show you something real quick about the Indian Removal Act, because now I done got excited now. So shit, y'all gotta bear with me. To all my TikTok viewers, y'all might not be used to my style of teaching, but all my master students understand how I get down. So now let's keep in mind for a second. We're talking about trust. We're talking about, and if you guys are not familiar with it, it's okay, because I'll go back over at a later date. Just take notes for right now. I'm trying to find my joint real quick. There we go. This is why I talked about the 13 penal colonies. The 13 penal colonies, right? The 13 penal colonies were established under trust or what's called Lord Proprietors. Lord Baltimore. I'm gonna show you, man. Listen, bro. Oh, boy, it's so much, man. Boy, it's so much, man. It's so much, cuz. Boy, it's so much, man. Let me just talk to y'all, family. When I tell y'all it's so much history in the midst of what these evil YT colonizers done did, man, it's so much shit, bro. It should make your head hurt, man. And it'll make you mad at the same time. And you just, what I'm saying? You be trying to figure out, like, why would they do this, man? Why would they do this shit to us, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did we do to them so bad that they got to trip us up with so much paperwork and doc? And to this day, we still trying to fight over who we are, who we were. We from Africa, and looking at old logs and old reports and paperwork, and we now found out in the last 7, 8 years that the birth certificate and social security card and all that stuff is just, you know what I'm saying, a whole bunch of stuff to keep us in perpetual debt and slavery and so on and so forth. But my question is this. My question is this, and always have been this. Who gave them permission? Who gave them permission? And this is why my live on the 13 penal colonies went crazy. Because if you could understand the 13 penal colonies, if you could understand the purpose of, fuck, let me just pull it up, man. I don't want to talk about it no more. There we go. Let's just deal with it right quick. I gotta blow this up for my YouTube fam so they can see it on their end too. Y'all see this? Okay, y'all can see it. All right, let me scroll down a little bit. Let's get into it. Does this look familiar right here? Now, the original seal got us on there, the copper color people. Now, they don't flipped it. See how they got their baby? She holding the baby and everything. All this stuff is symbolic, bro. It's symbolic. That scepter in his hand, these were copper colored people right here. You can't find a history in the world of Europeans looking like this. It doesn't exist. The original had the copper colored people on the side, and the cornucopia wasn't even on there. But this is their seal. This right here is symbolic for the trustees or the Lord proprietors. This is their family crest, right? Now, the other version, this is a cross with 4 crosses in the middle. That's called a Crescerian cross. This cross, this symbol, lets us know who is laying claim to the territory. All right, let's go back here. There's 3 kings you got to deal with when you're dealing with the colonial period. King Charles, let's start with King James. King James in the early 1600s, then King Charles in the late 1600s, then you got King George in the early 1700s. So there's King James, King Charles, and King George. All right, write those 3 kings down and study them. The Lord proprietors were 8 Englishmen who King Charles II granted by the Carolina Charter in 1663, 1665. The joint ownership of tract of land, the New World called Carolina. Now, when they say New World, this is the New World to them. Islam, more. This is the New World to them. This is the old world for us. Northwest of Mexico is old to us, but new to them. This is new territory to them under conquest. And after I show you this, write these dates down too, because we got to stay with time and space. We got to talk about when stuff happened and where it happened. So I'm giving y'all so much in-depth information. 1663. Now, after I read this, I'm gonna take y'all back to 1491, 1492. You was taught that Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. I'm going to show you the doctrine that Columbus had in his hand when he came across those seas. Then I'm going to show you the first contracted individual who brought humans from Africa over to North America by the name of John Hawkins. He was contracted by Queen Elizabeth I. See, these Europeans, these Europeans are not playing at all. They operating under manifest destiny. They said that their God told them to come take this land. Their God, in the name of our God, right? And this is why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us that we have to return Christianity and the church back to the Europeans. It was created for their salvation. We have to return the church and Christianity back to the Europeans. The Lord proprietors were 8 Englishmen who King Charles II granted the Carolina Charter. James Oglethorpe had a charter. I'm going to show you the charter for Georgia too. He gave a charter in 1663. The joint ownership of the tract of land in New World called the Carolina. All of these men either had remained loyal to the crown or had aided Charles in restoring the English throne. 2 of them, William Berkeley, former governor of Virginia, and John Collecton, a West Indian planter, actually had personal knowledge of the New World. The other 6 proprietors were Edward Hyde, Earl of Caradon, George Modoc, Duke of Albemarle, whatever it say, Albemarle, William, Earl of Craven. Now, when you see Duke of, Earl of, Earls, Dukes, Squires, these are noble titles. These are nobles. These are the noble class. Why am I talking about nobility? I thought I was talking about the Yamacraw Indians. I am. But you first have to learn Western history, okay? And the Western history unlocks a lot of those puzzle pieces that are missing for us to understand what the hell happened. Anthony Ashley, Cooper, and Sir George, so on and so forth. And I won't get into all this information, but go look up Lord Proprietors. They had extensive power, mainly to establish civil structures, to collect taxes, duties, and maintain order, as well as have certain game and mineral ownership. Now, that game and mineral ownership is a word called in perpetuity. Perpetuity means forever. Like from 1712 to 2024, their descendants, their descendants are still eating off this shit today. Moreover, the proprietorship endured disruption through troubles with these Indians right here. Let's look at these Indians right here. I'm gonna click on it so we can look them up real quick. Uh-oh. Shit didn't come up. We can highlight and go search on Google because I want to know who they are. So we're not just talking about Creek Indians and so on and so forth. The Tuscarora Indians, a Native American tribe. Hold on. I got to get my people over here right over on YouTube. We're talking about the Tuscarora Indians, family. Tuscarora Indians were a Native American tribe primarily located in West North Carolina. So you had the Gull or Geechee Indians in South Carolina. In North Carolina, the Tuscarora. In Virginia, you had the Natchez and the Pamunkey. Okay, a little bit further north, you had the oh my God, what were they called? Not just the Delaware Indians. Damn, slipped my damn mind that quick. But anyway, go look up these tribes. Considered part of the Iroquois Confederacy and known for their traditional reliance in cultivating corn. I had a brother on TikTok said corn grow in Africa, came from Africa. I said, oh Lord, what the hell? The Tuscarora Indians were known for cultivating corn and living along the coastal plains of the state. They were eventually forced to relocate after the conflict with European settlers joining the Iroquois leads of the Five Nations in New York. Now let's go back. Let's go back to the Yamacraw. Let's go back to the Yamacraw. Outside of the Yamacraw Indians, you also had other tribes in the state of Georgia. The Oconee. Let's go back here. Ohio. Let's go back. Oconee Seminole. You guys heard of the Seminoles, right? Or Cimarron. The word Seminole or Cimarron means runaway. These are the Seminole. They are the Oconee Seminoles or the Ohio. The Ohio was the first recorded chief of the Alachua band of Seminoles. So we talk about the Seminoles. We can't think of the Seminoles as just what bro say Alabama's considered. Alabama and Georgia is the same dirt. Them little white demarcation lines are not real, just on the map. It's the same piece of dirt. Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, it's the same pile of dirt. Ohio was the first recorded chief of the Alachua, and if I'm mispronouncing these, forgive me, band of Seminole tribe. European American called them cow keepers, as he held a very large herd of cattle. Ohio was the chief of a town of Oconee people. Anybody from the state of Georgia know about Oconee County? Y'all know about Coweta County. Y'all know about the Chattahoochee River. Around 1750, he led his people into Florida, where they settled around Pines Prairie, part of what Spanish call Alhuca County. The Spanish call Ahaya people Cameroons, which eventually became known as Seminoles. So the word Seminole comes from the word Cameroon. Seminole in English. Ohio fought the Spanish and sought friendship with the British. And one day we got to look into this Native American tribes aligning themselves either with the British or with the French or with the Spanish. Okay, I feel like we don't talk enough about who was in these territories and what they were doing there. All right, so they aligned themselves with the British. After Spain succeeded Florida, gave Florida away to Great Britain in 1763, and staying loyal to them through the American Revolution, he died shortly after Britain and returned Florida to Spain in 1783. Ohio, the chief of the Alachua band of Seminoles, were called cow keepers of East Florida. Why am I talking about them? Because now you know who the Seminole are. The name Seminole likely derived from the Spanish Cameroon, meaning wild or untamed. Some people said the word means runaway. I heard that before. As opposed to the Christianized natives who had previously lived in the Mission Village of Spanish Florida, some of the Hatachi, or boy, these some names right here, ain't they, boy? Whatever this is right here. Speakers who settled in Florida identify themselves with the British. Talking about the Muscogee language also. While the name Seminole was commonly applied by the YT, all Native Americans in Florida, even as late as 1842, at the end of the Second Seminole War, the second is 2 wars, U.S. Army officers referred to various bands in Florida as Seminole, Creek, Uchis with Seminole. It is now 9:21. It is 9:21. Unfortunately, to all my TikTok followers, I do apologize. I've been trying to stall on exclusive content. If you're over on YouTube right now, hold tight on YouTube. If you're on TikTok watching me, I want to appreciate all of y'all. We got it up to 3,002, over 3,000 likes over on TikTok. I definitely appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. But now I got to go the fuck in, and I can't talk the way I want to talk on TikTok. So click the link in my bio right now. Click the link in my description on my page. Go to my page. Like my damn videos, man. I be going in over there for y'all, bro. Like, click the link. Come over to my YouTube. We about to go in for probably another 35, 40 minutes. I want to share with my fans over on YouTube page, over on Chrome TV, some exclusive information that I don't think I'm able to show on TikTok. So unfortunately, I got to depart y'all from TikTok. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Tomorrow, we're going to go in again. If you want to continue the conversation, go to my page. Like, as soon as this live ends, go to my page, click the YouTube link in my bio. Just click it. Come over to YouTube and watch this shit. Like, I'm gonna keep going. I just can't keep going on TikTok. TikTok be acting weird, man. They be trying to block me and kick me off sometimes. So I'm about to go over here and turn up for real on YouTube how I want to. So TikTok, appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all. Share this shit, man. Thanks for the love. All right. Now I can fucking talk how I goddamn want to talk now. TikTok be weird, y'all. But I had to show love on TikTok. All right, so we're talking about the Ohio. I want to talk to y'all real quick about some other shit that I was getting ready to show. And I know if I would have showed this on TikTok, they would have put the hammer on my ass. This week I'm going to go in and dealing with this white power Southern horror story featuring myself. We're going to deal with the supposed white power structure that got pretty upset at the end of the Civil War, going to the early 1900s. They began to, you have to understand, like, the lynching of Negroes started after slavery, okay? There weren't that many lynchings during slavery. Trust me. From the research, I wasn't there, but from the research I read, all of the lynching and the terror started after slavery. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do this live on Wednesday or Thursday of next week. I got to gather some more information on this because I want to give y'all the best rendition possible. Also next week, I'm gonna bring a brother who's a pretty high ranking Masonic brother over here. I'm working on a story about the Prince Hall Masons and the modern Freemasons. As you guys know, that I am a Masonic brother myself, and I was told that I'm not a legitimate Mason by several brothers on TikTok. Prince Hall brothers act like they're the goddamn gatekeepers. If you are a Prince Hall brother right now on the live, this ain't got nothing to do with you. Okay, don't take it personal. So bro said TikTok lame as fucking way. TikTok is lame as shit. So I'm gonna do the origins of the Masonic order in America, and I'm gonna do that one I just showed y'all as well. So stay tuned for that. Let's get back to what we were doing. Yeah, TikTok be on some shit, man. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes YouTube don't be no better. You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is. Let's get back to it.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
These are the houses. These are some of the houses. This is shit they be showing us. They're supposed to be representing slave shacks. This right here is in Yamacraw, Savannah. And my mind was blown, man. Not because of the structures. I mean, just the fact that we've always done pretty good. These are Indians. These are Indians. I'm just keep showing y'all pictures of Indians till y'all get used to seeing yourselves as Indians. This is the Indian boarding school. And this, for all my people that's dealing with the out of Africa theory, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Melvin Herkovich. If you don't know who he is, look him up. This is where you got the idea of coming out of Africa from, right here, from him and Franz Boas. You're not from Africa. Unfortunately. Sorry. Go pick this book up. Get a copy of this book, man. It's mind-blowing. Let's get back to the lesson at hand. Want to talk about John Horse? John Horse. Let's read about John Horse real quick and see who he is. And we're still in the southeast region of America. We're still in the southeast region of America. If you're just joining me, we talked about the Yamacraw Indians. Now we're going to talk about the Seminoles real quick. John Horse, also known as Juan Cavallo, Juan or John Kawa, and Gopher John, was a man of mixed African and Seminole ancestry who fought alongside the Seminoles in the Second Seminole War in Florida. He rose to prominence in the third year of what would become the 7-year war, when the first generation of Black Seminole leaders were largely decimated at the primary Seminole war chief, Isoyola, fell into the hands of American military commander General Thomas Sinead Jessup. Black Seminole. Let's click on that and see what that's talking about. Black Seminoles. Look at this brother. This brother here. He like somebody's uncle. These are the Black Seminoles, family. Take it in. Look at the picture. Look at the damn picture and take it in. The Black Seminole or Afro Seminoles are an ethnic group of mixed Native American African origin associated with the Seminole people in Florida and Oklahoma. They are mostly blood descendants of Seminole people, comma. All right. When you see a comma, you have to pause for a second. Okay. You can't create what's called a run-on sentence and keep reading. You can't keep reading. Not even going to mention how they Photoshop technology back in the day. Straight be it. Oh, you already know that, bro. I'm in the comments. I'm sorry. Most of these Africans despise us anyways. Yeah, they do. They do. Especially over on TikTok land. They be going in over there. The Black Seminoles or Afro Seminoles are an ethnic group of mixed Native American and African origin associated with the Seminole people in Florida and Oklahoma. They are, and see, just reading this shit, it's so vague. It's so vague to where you're like, oh, okay, you know, maybe they are African, maybe they're not African. It's so vague. They are mostly blood descendants of Seminole people, free Africans, and escaped former slaves. That's 3 different groups. Did y'all catch those 3 different groups? Maybe you did. Let me show you. Seminole people, that's one group. Free Africans, that's one group. And escaped former slaves, that's 3 groups of people they just named. Did y'all see that shit? Seminole people, comma. Anytime you see a comma, anytime you see a comma that's preceding something, it's usually listing something out. Like something is typically being listed, right? It says they're mostly blood descendants. They're mostly blood descendants of Seminole people. We just talked briefly about the Seminole people. We're going to go back to the Seminole people in a second. Remember, the Seminole people had several bands, different tribes. Like it was one tribe, but they had different it was in the same city, just different hoods. Like you have Bloods, then you have Piru Bloods, then you have, you know, I'm not too fucking familiar with gang activity, but I know a little bit about it. It's just different sectors of the association. All right. So there were several associations, sectors. So like the Oconee we just saw was a sector of the Seminole tribes. The Red Sticks are also a sector of the Seminole tribe. Free Africans and escaped former slaves who allied with Seminole groups in Spanish Florida. Many have Seminole lineage, but due to the stigma of having mixed origin, they have all been categorized as slaves or freedmen in the past. Crazy. There was something else on YouTube I wanted to show real quick as well, family. Give me 1 second, pull it up. Not this right here. Give me a second. I thought I had it ready, but that's my bad. My bad. There we go. Where'd it go? Okay. Oh, the Wampanoag. That's a tribe I was trying to think about earlier. What was the Wampanoag? It just came to my mind just now. That's my bad. I was talking about the northern tribes earlier. Let's check this video out real quick, and I'm going to explain it. It's about 2 minutes. Let's check it out, and then we'll get into it.
The ground, and when they collapse, boom, the rock, and we notice there's water everywhere. If this place was water, there might be water all over us now.
How to get the water and stuff. We used to go out in the field to hunt berries, blackberries, wild salmons, and fish. We call it mutton. We muddy up the fish pond, little fish pond, and make the fish come to the water, to the top.
If you don't get to feel it, it's because you are not that kind of human being. Can you feel the water right now? No, you don't. It is running right beneath your feet. To be able to find out that one later, you don't have to do it now, but later, during your free time, I suggest find a couple of sticks. Those ones work still. And you put those sticks, walk with those ones, and when the sticks get like these ones, oh my God, there's really water here underneath. Never seen people use the sticks?
Yeah.
They still use it today because they still work. But you don't need the sticks. I don't need the sticks to be able to tell you where's water. I'm that good I am. So you can take me to the country and you will find water like this.
I was just saying, Grandma, I'm thirsty. I want some water. And she showed my aunt and a friend of ours how to get the water. She take a willow tree and she take it, walk along, and she said the limb would go down, and she would say, "This water that big, Mr. Shed."
Here things happen just naturally. They crack, collapse, boom, sink. We call those ones in Maya chen. You call those ones in English sinkhole. Yes? Chi, chen, the mouth of the well. It means wizard, magician, warlock, or sorcerer. And ha means water.
So hold on. So basically, the older brother gentleman was saying how his grandmother was telling him how to find water in the ground by holding those two sticks together, and then you saw the tour guide giving a different rendition of that same story. That shit was kind of mind blowing to me when I saw it. I'm like, damn, they giving the same story that we received, the oral version, and they got to make up shit because their grandmas didn't tell them this information. All right, back to this. Black Seminoles. Historically, the Black Seminoles lived mostly in distinct bands. That's what I was trying to say earlier, y'all. Like they lived in like, you know, like neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different blocks, but they all represent the same shit, right? So they live in distinct bands. Historically, the Black Seminoles lived mostly in distinct bands near the Native American Seminoles. Some were held as slaves. So now we know that when we talk about slavery, we have to also talk about the fact that those were Native Americans or American Indians. And politically correct, these were Black American Indians, not Africans. They were relabeled or reclassified as African Americans. They were reclassified as Negroes. They were reclassified as colored folks, Black people. And we don't have to get into the whole classification act. We know how we got reclassified. We have an understanding of how we got reclassified. Historically, the Black Seminoles lived mostly in distinct bands near the Native American Seminoles. Some were held as slaves, particularly of the Seminole leader, but Black Seminoles had more freedom than the slave held by whites in the South and by other Native American tribes, including the right to bear arms. That's interesting. Today, Black Seminoles descendants live primarily in rural communities around Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. It's two freedmen bands, the Caesar Burner Band and the Dozier Burkes Band, are represented in the General Council of the Nations. Other centers in Florida, Texas, and the Bahamas and northern Mexico. Since the 1930s, the Seminole freedmen have struggled with the cycles of exclusion from Seminole tribes of Oklahoma. In 1990, the tribe received the majority of $56 million judgment trust. There's that trust again. If it's a $56 million trust, who are the trustees over this trust? And is it a guarantor trust? Meaning, like, do they have the right to govern this trust? They probably don't. For seizure lands in Florida in 1823. And the freedmen have worked to gain to share it, have worked to gain a share of it. Let's take a pause for a second, because I wanna do something real quick. Listen, I think Crom TV thanks you a lot for that $20 donation, sis. Appreciate you so much. I'm gonna throw my Cash App up here real quick. if y'all don't mind, please. If y'all don't mind, where's my cash? There, right here. There's my personal information if you guys want to shoot a donation right here. Over to my side. Appreciate y'all so much. But let's take a look at something real quick, fam. I wanna investigate some shit real quick. Pause beat. In 1990, the tribe received the majority of $56 million judgment, $56 million trust by the United States for seizure of lands in Florida in 1823. Not only did they take land, from Florida. Let's look at the land grab of Georgia and see how they got the land from Georgia. Hold on. We got to go explore something else real quick. And all I'm trying to do is bring some understanding to this shit, because this shit is weird to me, man. How they just came over here and just snatched shit away. But you know, there's a story behind it too. So the Indian Removal Act signed into law May 28th, 1830. That last post to seize your land from Florida was 1823. Authorized the United States government to negotiate treaties. They ain't negotiate shit with the Native American tribes to forcibly remove them. Hold on. Look at the wordplay, first of all. Look at the fucking wordplay on this. You see words like authorize, negotiate, treaties. Then you see forcibly removed. If anybody on this live, listen to me right now. If we have a treaty or a contract in place or an agreement in place, why would you have to forcibly remove me from some shit? All right. It says the treaty with the Native Americans to forcibly remove them from their ancestral lands in the eastern United States to relocate them to the land west of the Mississippi River. A policy often referred to as a Indian Removal Act or Indian removal, which resulted in the devastating Trail of Tears. So the Trail of Tears is the result of the Indian Removal Act for many tribes like the Cherokee people. Now, not only the Cherokee people. Let's take a look at the map of where this shit affected. Like what area was affected by this Indian Removal Act. There it is. Y'all see it? Georgia, Mississippi, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Louisiana, Florida, the whole entire southeast region. The entire southeast region was evacuated and relocated to Oklahoma. That means the Seminoles, the Miamians, the Yamacraw, the Yamasee, the Muskogee, the Creek, the Blackfoot, Cherokee, Appalachians, all of them Indians were removed. Once they were removed from those territories, that land became known as abandoned land. Abandoned land. If you abandon your home, all of y'all under the sound of my voice, if you abandon your house for a period of time, depending on your state's law, and I go set up shop in your house, I'm known as a squatter, but I can lay claim to that property because it's been abandoned. It's abandoned property. So that entire land that they were kicked off of were known as abandoned property. Let's take a look at what abandoned property is. Abandoned property. What is abandoned property? Abandoned property can refer to a person's personal property or accounts that have been left behind or neglected, or to intellectual property rights that have been relinquished. Let's look at personal property. Abandoned property is personal property that an owner has intentionally given up and left behind. Accounts and access. Abandoned property can also refer to accounts or assets or assets that have been neglected or turned over to the government for safekeeping. Do we have an understanding of what abandoned property is? Now, watch this. What are Georgia squatters' laws? This is Georgia now. I'm not talking about Alabama, Mississippi, everybody else. This is Georgia. A squatter may be able to claim adverse possession of property in Georgia as long as they meet certain requirements. If the person wants to claim actual possession / legal ownership of a unit or property, they need the following: 20 years of continuous possession of property or 7 years with the color of title. There's that word title again. Remember we talked about James Oglethorpe earlier? Who has the original title for the territory of Georgia? James Oglethorpe. He is the trustee. He has a charter for the territory. Why am I talking about James Oglethorpe again? Because now you understand every state is under a title. Every state is under a trust. So once the lands of Georgia were abandoned, it became abandoned property. Adverse possession took place by guess who? Watch this. White squatters in Georgia in the 1800s. To settle on land without the owner's permission has been known as squatting since the 1700s. Since the 1800s, it has been used to describe otherwise homeless people who squat in vacant structures. Since the 1700s. Watch this, though. I'm not done. Let me keep. Now, my question to you guys is, were these Indians that kicked off the land of Georgia? Like TP Indians, like the Mongolians, the Pretendians, was it them who got kicked off the land in Georgia, Alabama? Was it them? Or was it us? What y'all think? In the comments, I want you to and be honest. In the comments, put them, and I say them, I'm talking about the TP Indians, the nomadic people who came from the Siberian area. Was it them or was it us? When I say us, I mean the copper color indigenous people of North America. Was it them or us? Who y'all think was on that land first? Them or us? Put it in the comments. Just write them or us in the comments, if you please. I appreciate y'all. Them or us? Who was there? Them or us? He said, no, those were us. Let's see. Those were us. Okay, us. Copper color, us. Now, when I was in the military, my commanding officer would always tell me something that I never forgot. And this applies to y'all too. When you're dealing with information or anything, there's a motto I go by. It's called trust but verify. Trust but verify. Now, I trust what y'all are saying. I want to verify it was us. Now, we have the Indian Removal Act. We all know about the Indian Removal Act. We're not quite sure who got removed, I don't think. I just showed y'all several black tribes besides the Yamacraw, the Yamansi, the Coweta, and the Oconee, and the Seminole. I didn't get to the Miamians. I just showed you several so-called Negro tribes. Even those who were enslaved were part of Indian tribes also. I just showed y'all quite a bit of information. They were the ones who got pushed off the territory. Let's find out. It said the U.S. government enacted the Indian Removal Act. Then the U.S. government came back and invited those Negroes back on the land. They didn't invite the Pretendians on the land. Watch this. Write this down. Special Field Order number 15. I'm gonna give y'all time to write down before I reveal what it is. This is called Special Field Order number 15, also known as General Order number 15. Now, you all may be familiar with General Order number 3. All of my military veterans, you know what I'm talking about when I say General Order. That's military lingo, right? This is Special Field Order number 15. Special Field Order number 15. Let's read who was invited back to the land. Who was invited back to the land? Watch this. Special Field Order number 15 was a military order issued by the Union General William T. Sherman on January 16, 1865, during the American Civil War, to redistribute land to the formerly enslaved black people in 40 parcels along the Atlantic coast of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Come on, man. What the fuck y'all talking about, bro? Stop playing with me, man.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
They invited us back to the land. We got invited back. When you see the word redistribute, like redistribute, means to do over. This is 1865. The Indian Removal Act was before this. So they kicked you off your land, then invited you back to the land. All right, look, y'all, our bad. Okay. All right. Okay. Y'all come on back. We're gonna give y'all it was never 40 acres in a mule, by the way. So let's stop with that BS. It was never 40 acres in a mule. And I challenge anybody on that shit. It was never 40 acres in the mule. Never 40 acres in the mule. Never 40 acres in the mule. It was just 40 parcels of land. The Union soldiers had a few plow mules left over. Okay, during the Civil War, they couldn't go to Sam's Club. They couldn't go to Whole Foods. They had to set up shop and grow their own food while the war was going on to feed the troops. So they had an excess of mules left over that they were not taking back to Washington, D.C. So they said, listen, we got a couple of extra mules. Y'all want the mules? Because the Union Army, under the command of General William T. Sherman, also the Freedmen's Bureau was also set up to distribute these mules. They had a couple mules. They had maybe like 60, 65 mules that I read. It wasn't a whole lot of mules. It wasn't a mule for everybody. Okay. The order redistributed land to former enslaved black people. Why are they giving land back to black people? Because you were there at first. The Yamacraw, the Yamansi, the Coweta, the Blackfoot, the Cherokee, the Gull or the Geechee Gullah, or whatever you want to call it, the Maroon, the Seminole, they was telling y'all to come on back on that land. The Union soldiers said, hey, y'all, come on back, come on back, come on back, pull up, our bad, come on back, come on back. I told y'all this is us. This is us. Don't y'all ever doubt that you've been here. You've been here. Your ancestors been here. Y'all been here. So when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked the question from the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, when he asked the question, who is the original man? It's the Asiatic black man, the owner, the maker, the cream of the earth, and the father of the universe. How many square miles of inhabitable land do we have? Over 175 million square miles of inhabitable land. How much do the planet weigh? 66 quintillion tons, preceding 13 cycles. If y'all don't get y'all motherfucking mind right. This is y'all. This is y'all. This is ours. This is us. This is our shit. They kicked us off the land, declaring the land abandoned property. But because the property was in a trust, because the land was in a trust, because the land had been set up before 1865, it had been set up in 1763, 1769 by Chief Tomochichi. When I showed y'all the picture when he was talking to James Oglethorpe in the Board of Trustees, the Board of Trustees said, listen, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. I'm going to top this and show you something real quick. We talk about slavery. Your mind go right to the South, right? It go right to Georgia. What if I could show you that Georgia was never supposed to be a slave colony in the first place? Georgia was supposed to be a free territory. It wasn't until later the production the idea of the crops that Georgia got perverted into a slave state. Georgia was a free state. Georgia was actually a territory where all the free white people ran to. I'm sorry, the enslaved white people ran to the territory of Georgia. Georgia was known as a penal colony. Georgia was all the felons, okay? All the runaways ran to Georgia, especially Florida, because Florida belonged to Spain. Okay? Britain had no jurisdiction over Florida. So a lot of them ran to Florida. Okay? In the early 1700s, a lot of them ran to Georgia. And you saw Carolina wasn't set up to 1663. So before 1663, it was just what, 8 colonies, 8 territories. So everything below Virginia was free game. It was open territory. It was open season. You keep looking at these maps, you see those little white lines. Those white lines are not real. Those are called demarcation lines. That's not real, family. The next time you take a flight, and when the plane is about 400 or 500 feet off the ground, I want you to look out the window and you take a picture and you see if you see any little white lines on the ground that separates any of the states. Those white lines are not real. They're not real. They're not real. Those are fictitious. All right? Fictitious. Even when we look at the maps, the world maps, which I think the first map that was not the first map, but one of the major maps that were put out by a man by the name of it was called the Peter projection map. And you have the Mercadian map. The Mercadian map and the Peter projection map, the maps are distorted on purpose to give a bigger presence to European countries than to the darker countries. Same thing in North America with these false demarcation lines. Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, Carolinas, it's the same piece of dirt. In fact, if you drive from Atlanta to South Carolina, you're not going to drive over a white line. You're going to see a little green sign or a little welcome to South Carolina or welcome to Florida or welcome to New York or welcome to Virginia. It's all you're going to see. There won't be no white lines on the ground. Guarantee you that. They was given the land back to you because you are the rightful heirs of the vast estate. They have to give it back to you. Just like now. The time is coming. America's for sale. And you better get you a piece. You trying to buy these gold chains and buy these goddamn Versace's, and ladies trying to get these Birkin, you better get you a Birkin piece of land. That's what you better be trying to get your hands on. Now, to my point before I wrap it up. 40 acres was promised back, redistribute. That means in the first place, it was yours. Now, the whole time I've been talking for the whole hour and a half, I have not left the territory of Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. I told y'all tonight we're dealing with the Southeast region of America. So much happened in the Southeast region of America. In fact, the entirety, if not 80% at least, of the so-called era of slavery happened in the Southeast region. Okay? That was the whole thing with the Civil War, the Southeast region. The War of 1812 kicked off the Southern region. Okay? King Cotton, Southern region. You watch movie like 12 Years a Slave, Southern region. Django, Southern region. Roots, Southern region. Come on, man. Now, let's take a deeper dive real quick. Land redistribution. The order redistributed around 400,000 acres of land to the approximate 18,000 former enslaved families and other Black people. Watch this land source. Watch this. The land was either confiscated by the Union during the Civil War or abandoned land from Charleston to the St. Johns River. Abandoned land? How did it get abandoned? How did it get abandoned? Now, this happened when? 1865. Let's go back real quick. And let's deal with the Indian Removal Act. Sorry. 1830, they kicked your ass off. 35 years later, they invited you back. 1830, you got kicked off the land. 1865, they invited you back. Watch this though. Watch this though. Let's go back to this real quick. Watch this. They brung you back. So, Minister, where's our 40 acres at then? If we got our 40 acres back, where are 40 acres at? Oh, yeah, let me show you what happened to that shit. Okay, hold on. The order was a response to the demand by black ministers after Ebenezer Creek massacre. However, the land was later restored to its pre-war owners under President Andrew Johnson. President Andrew Johnson gave it back to the white owners. Let me stop saying owners. He gave the land to white people. 65, calling for redistribution of confiscated southern land to freedmen and 40-acre plots. The order was rescinded later that same year, and much of the land was returned to the original white owners. So listen, let me ask you a question. What do y'all think happened to all those 18,000 Negro families who came back and began to farm the land and began to till the soil and began to plant cotton, corn, collard greens, sweet potatoes, cabbage, yams, so on and so forth? What do y'all think happened to those people? Read this. The orders was later, it was rescinded, meaning, hey, never mind. God damn, bro. Like we already came back though. Like we don't walk from, there wasn't no cars. They didn't have a fucking Uber. We don't walk from Oklahoma or horse and carriage from Oklahoma. We don't came back to Georgia. We don't built it because Georgia was tore up. The Civil War, the Union fucked Atlanta up. They burnt Atlanta to the ground, damn near. The Union was not playing. They tore Atlanta up. So now these black Indians don't came back to Georgia, rebuilt their houses, starting to till the land. A couple of them got mules. Everybody didn't get a mule. I promise you, everybody didn't get a mule, y'all. It was no mule for everybody. There was no mule for everybody. They came back to the territory of Georgia, set up their farmland. 40 acres is a lot. As soon as they got the land tilled, as soon as they got the land going, white ownership reclaimed the land. What do y'all think happened to those Negroes on that land? That's my question. I'm going to show you what happened. Let me show you what happened. This happened. These are the photographs they showing y'all. These people don't came back to Georgia, farmed the land, and the president of the United States gave the land back to white people. So now the fact that these Negroes are on this land, they no longer own the land. The white planters now own the land. Do y'all see what's happening? So immediately, these people right here standing on their land, which was confiscated for a second time by the government of the United States. Somebody said they became sharecroppers. Some of them did. They became this right here. I typed in slaves and they showed you Negroes in the field. I typed in tenant farming and sharecroppers. They got Negroes in the field. The pictures did not even change. Ain't that crazy? Now, they show niggas picking cotton before the Civil War in the field. After the Civil War, niggas still in the field. Tenant farming and sharecropping started. That's what happened. They kicked you off the land in 1830. 1865, they invited you back to the damn land. President Andrew Johnson gave the land back to white folk. And while you still out there on the land, you at work, you look up, here come a whole bunch of white people on your land. Like, what you doing about this? Is my land. Nigga, sorry. You didn't read the news? Andrew Johnson gave it back to us, gave it back to y'all. What we gonna do? You got two choices. You can leave or you can stay. That's the only choice they had. You can leave or you can stay. We not walking back to Oklahoma no more. We is not gonna go back. We just got back from Oklahoma. We just built our house. We just tilt the soil up. We just planted our seeds. It's gonna be another 8-9 months for our crop grow. We not gonna go back to Oklahoma. Then y'all become tenant farmers. So when they show y'all these pictures, Reconstruction. This is Reconstruction. I told these are not slaves. I just showed y'all how they got invited back to their land. They work in their land. They got duped by Andrew Johnson. A lot of them stayed on the land. You know what? You know what? I know I'm teaching. I know I'm fucking teaching right now. I know I am. I'm connecting the dots for y'all, showing y'all this shit is not that hard to figure out what happened. This is after they reclassified you. This is in the beginning of what's called eugenics in the early 1920s. Okay? This is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who came from Georgia, saw the condition of his people and saw how these devils were treating them. This is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came talking the way he was talking about white folk. Where was Honorable Elijah Muhammad from? Where was he from? Who can tell me where Honorable Elijah Muhammad was from? Because we ain't left the South. We still talking about the South right now. I ain't went nowhere from the South. Beginning of this lecture, we was talking about the Yamacraw Indians in Georgia. We still talking about the black Yamacraw Indians right now in Georgia. Sanderville, Georgia. Honorable Elijah Muhammad was from Sanderville, Georgia. This is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking the way he was talking about these YT people. Do you see what they did? You see what happened? So when you look at these pictures on Google and you see your ancestors in those fields working, don't you dare think that they were dumbass slaves. Don't you dare think that they were slaves. Don't you dare think that. Don't you dare think that about our people. These are not slaves. They're just at work. They're working. Let me show y'all something else. And I'm going to get out of here. Let's read what tenant farmers were. So you can stop with this slave crap. Tenant farming and sharecropping were both labor systems in America, in the American South, after the end of slavery that tied farmers to the land and kept them in poverty. Sharecroppers paid rent to the landowner. Who is the landowner at this point? Y'all tell me. I just showed y'all who the landowners were. We were the landowners. We were the rightful heirs of the vast estate. We were the rightful heirs of the vast estate. The government, the U.S. President, Andrew Johnson, overturned the decision of Special Field Order number 15. When y'all say 40 acres in the mule, it was Special Field Order number 15. Because we could talk about Special Field Order number 3 in Galveston, Texas, that gave you Juneteenth, that I always talk about and show you in the literature of Juneteenth. I mean, the literature of General Order number 3 that was read out loud in Galveston, Texas. They tell you distinctly that the condition is no longer slave and slave mastery. It's now employer and employee. This would happen to us right here. Sharecroppers paid rent to the landowners with a portion of their crops, usually cotton. The landowners provided the capital, the finance, and sometimes food, clothing, medical expenses. When you go to work, all of you on the sound of my voice that have a goddamn job, what do your employer provide for you? He provides capital. He provides food. He provides clothing, medical, dental. Does he not? Sharecroppers were often in debt. Are you not in debt with your car, in your mortgage, in your lifestyle? Are you not in debt right now? You are in debt. Everybody's in debt to the landowner and rarely improve their situation. What the hell is wrong with black folk? What's wrong with black people? We was put into a perpetual system. Tenant farming, however, tenant farmers paid rent to the landowners with a portion of their crop yield. Tenant farmers often own their equipment, such as a plow or a mule. Remember I told you not everybody got a mule? 18,000 black families came back. You think they had 18,000 mules just laying around? No. Some of them did receive mules. So they had their own equipment. These were tenant farmers. In a small home, they had a greater share of the crops than sharecroppers because they provided their own material. Both systems were pervasive in the South and kept black and white farmers in a cycle of poverty. Sharecropping in particular allowed near slavery conditions to continue on plantations. Come on, man. Let me tell y'all something. If I didn't do nothing else tonight, I did my part. I did my goddamn part. I did what I could do. Thanks to Crom TV audience. Thanks to you, the listening audience. Thanks to all of y'all for tapping in. Listen, man, you're not Negroes. You're not black people. You're not colored folk. Those were all labels given to you by slaveholders in 1776 and lasted by 1865. But this is a new era in time where you must proclaim your national name. Shouts to Crom TV. Thanks for the platform, man. Thanks for the opportunity. This live has been brought to you by the Minister of Information. This live is for educational purposes only. This is not hate speech. I do not condone hate speech. This is a safe place. Across the screen, you see my Apple Pay. You see my Zelle. You see my Cash App. Please, family, please. I'm going to ask you to examine yourself. If you felt a blessing tonight, this is the altar call now. This is the altar call. I'm calling you to the altar. Come down to the altar. Put something in the collection plate. I appreciate the shit, the jingles, but I like the kind that fall because I know I taught tonight. I know I was on fire tonight. I cooked tonight. I know I did. If I wasn't under the restraints of time, I'd keep going to fucking 1 a.m. if I had opportunity. Crom, no, I can go for 4 hours straight. Okay, but I'm gonna keep it pimping. It's a Sunday night, man. Appreciate y'all. When you go into work tomorrow, just keep in mind. Keep this in mind, y'all. Keep it in mind, y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. Oh yeah, we gotta do altar call. You know, when it get real serious in the church, it's altar call. Drop some in the collection plate, man. It's been your boy, Misinformation, man. It's been real. I appreciate y'all, man. It's all love all the time. Crown TV, stay tuned. I'm out, bro.
Hello, everybody. Recording live from somewhere.
Minister of Information.
Minister.
Did you wake me up?
Minister.
Did you wake me up?
Minister.
Why did you wake me up?
The minister.
Wake up.
Minister.
Minutes of information.
All I'm offering is the truth. The minister. The minister's
I want the truth.
The minister.
You can't handle the truth.
M.O.I.
Minister.
Without knowledge of self.
Minister.
Minutes of information. M.O.I.
Who taught you to hate yourself?
1,000 ministers.
M.O.I. podcast.